What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be learning a couple of new things here. Go ahead and open this up for you guys. So this is going to be a person cutout, how to remove a person from a selection and move them somewhere else. But we're going to be covering a couple of stuff that are pretty easy in general. Like if you follow along my tutorial, it'll be pretty easy to understand the concept and how to use it in different situations. That is what's a bit complicated. And so we're going to be going over those. And the most complicated one, I believe, will be layer masks using a black and white brush. The quick selection and select subject is pretty simple, straightforward. Hard and soft brushes, it's a super easy thing to use. It's very easy to forget that it exists. So I'm hoping that if I put more attention into that specific area, you all will remember in future assignments. Refine edges, which is going to be used for when we're trying to get the person out of their background so that it has pretty good edges. The eyedropper tool, which is essentially just a tool that allows you to select colors that already exist, and then how to import PNGs and what exactly are PNGs. So let me go ahead and head over to Photoshop. This is what we're going to be creating. And so let's start off by going to File and New. And again, we're going to be working with a print document, letter size. Portrait is fine. We're going to call this person cutout. And then just press OK. And we end up in this blank page here. Now there's a couple of different ways that we can get the picture that we want into this particular page. We can go File, and place embedded. That would be the very first one that we can do. So if I go to desktop right here, I have the pictures somewhere in here. Where are they? All right, here. So we've got these pexel pictures. So I'm gonna go ahead and import one of them, place. And that is my background. That is one of the ways that we can do it. For the other one, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. So let me go ahead and open up my File Explorer. What's over here? I'm going to go to desktop. So this is my File Explorer. I have the pictures in my desktops, which is going to be this one right here, the one that I need. And so you can actually come here and just drag it in here. And then you'll get the picture. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you import these particular images is that right here on the side, they have a little icon right next to them. That little icon, what that means is that it is a smart object. A smart object is really good because whenever you resize a picture to make it bigger or smaller, you don't lose that much detail. However, sometimes you won't be allowed to do specific adjustments or effects because the image is a smart object. For now, it doesn't matter too much. We don't necessarily need to worry. So we're good there. We're going to go ahead and click on the little eyeball for now because I have the girl at the very top and I don't want to see her yet. So I'm going to click the little eyeball just to kind of hide it. And I'm going to select my picture that has this image of the tree. Now I want to make this image a little bit bigger because I have white right here on the edges. So make sure you select your move tool and then you can press Control T on your keyboard, or you can head to edit and then free transform. And then I'm just going to grab one of these guys from the edges and then just kind of pull off to the side. Do the same thing over here. And that's pretty good right there. And then press OK. Boom. There you go. It doesn't have to be extremely perfect. We're going to work with it later on, but kind of give us a general idea. Now we're going to go ahead and bring up our girl right here. Now because this picture fits perfectly in here, we just need to do a simple quick selection. So make sure you select the layer where you're going to want to do a quick selection. And then on your toolbar, you have the number 4 tool because you might actually see something like this, or you might see a quick selection, or you might see the magic wand. Regardless of which one you see there, you're going to hold it and press quick selection. Now the quick selection is pretty cool because you're going to notice up here that it has a plus and a minus. The plus allows you to select certain things. All you have to do is click and drag. I'm going to Control Z to remove that. Or actually, if I have stuff there, right, grabbed, And then the minus allows me to deselect stuff that I don't want to be grabbed, right? However, there's something even better than that, and that is select subject. Now, select subject does a pretty decent job most of the time, but it's not perfect, and sometimes we need to tweak it. So we're going to go ahead and put here select subject. Boom. Let that do its thing. And it's going to do its best job to try to select everything. So notice it did a pretty good job, but there is a spot right here that it missed. So we're going to grab our minus tool and just kind of click and drag. There you go. Now, if I zoom in, Control plus on your keyboard and Control minus allows you to zoom in and out. I'm going to zoom in. And then if you hold space bar, it'll turn your mouse into a hand when you hold the space bar, and you can click and drag and move around. So this is very useful. It's a excellent way of working so that you can be a little bit faster. So right here, you notice that there's little parts that didn't get dragged or selected. So I'll go ahead and click on the plus sign, and we will kind of do this. And all I'm doing is dragging and moving around. And there you go. Now it did a pretty decent job there. I noticed there's some messed up spots right here with the fingers. So I'll go ahead and select that. There we go. That's pretty good. There's a little pinky right here. There we go. The hand is pretty good. There's a spot right here. So we can go ahead and go to the minus and then just come in here and deselect that spot. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Hold the space bar. And then just grab the plus sign and grab that little area. And there we go. It looks like we have a pretty decent selection overall. So what I'm going to do now is go over here to where it says select and mask. Select and mask is going to take me to an area where it puts it like on a red background. And that way I can see exactly what I have selected here. And put this at 100% to see exactly what I have selected, or put it in transparent. I like it at 100%. That allows me to see if anything, like for example right here, that I have it kind of messed up. So I can make my brush a little bit smaller. And then just come in here and kind of color that in. Color in a little bit right there. A little bit right there. That's actually like messing it up a little bit, but it's okay. We'll fix it at the end. Overall, that looks pretty good. There's a couple of little mistakes here, but I'll show you guys how to fix it later. All right, so we got a pretty decent selection right here. So what we're going to do is click decontaminate colors. That's going to kind of make the edges a little bit sharper so that it doesn't pick up random colors. And then we will go over to shift edge and put it at like -6. That's just going to make it so that if there's a kind of glow around it, if you remove some of that edge, it removes some of that glow. Sometimes you get like a little glow around your subject. And we'll press OK. Now the reason we put decontaminate colors is because it also gives us a new layer with a layer mask. I'm going to explain what layer masks are as soon as we press OK. Perfect. So now we have this girl that has been separated from the background. It looks pretty cool. Now, a layer mask. Whenever you create layer masks, and you can create layer masks on anything. So like, let's say I right click right here and then I go and create a layer mask is down here. This guy right here. And I create a layer mask. A layer mask is essentially this little box that creates next to the actual image that you're working with. And what the box does, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Looks like that's about as big as I can make this. All right, so what this box actually does is it turns your object into a mask where you have blacks and whites. Everything that is white is visible, and everything that is black is hidden. So it's not erased, it's just hidden. And the cool thing is that you can then go with your brush right here and using your black and white, notice you can select both the picture or the black and white mask. So you want to select your layer mask, and using a brush that is in both black and white, you're able to tweak the stuff that is messed up on the image. So black will hide it. Let me go ahead and zoom in right here. Then I'm gonna hold spacebar so I can move over to this area. And notice there's some pink going on right here. I can actually grab my brush, grab the black. I'm gonna right click, and this is part of the assignment tutorial that I was telling you would be able to do. A lot of students forget this, and I'm hoping that maybe you'll remember, and that is hardness on your brush. So if I were to erase stuff right now, notice the edge is kind of soft. If I right click and I make this 100, notice the edge is now very sharp. And so sometimes you want to play around with that. I'm going to Control Z, and I'm going to leave my hardness at like around 80%. And I'm just going to come in here and erase some of that hair. There you go. Just like so. And leave it like that. It doesn't have to be too crazy, but I'll just erase it a little bit. There you go. And then there was also some pink going on over here. I'll make my brush a little bit smaller using my bracket keys. There we go. Make this a little bit smaller, and then just come in here and kind of color away this pink stuff that were here. Now the cool thing about this is that if you messed up somewhere, like say here, I can actually switch over to my white one and then just kind of color in the parts that I needed. There you go. And there you go. All right. So for the most part, that's all that we really need to do with our mask. If you notice that there's anything in yours that's a little bit more messed up, then go ahead and just fix it. Remember, all you need to do is use your black or your white brush right here. And you can go in here and adjust your your hardness as necessary, and make sure that you are coloring in your black and white. So that is layer masks. Now in this video, it's a very minor introduction, but layer mask is going to be a huge part of almost every other assignment that we work on from now on. And it's kind of essential that you kind of understand the concept, because whenever you want to do stuff, chances are layer mask is the way you're going to do it. Now I'm going to grab my selection tool or my move tool, and I can move her around now. Notice that the light is coming from like this left side, and it's coming this way. However, the light on her face is on the right side. So we're going to go to Edit, Transform, and we're going to flip horizontal. That's going to put her facing the other way, which is perfect. That's what we want. Now I'm going to go ahead and press Edit and Free Transform, and we're going to make her a little bit smaller. How small is completely up to you, but something along these lines is pretty good. All right, we'll press OK. Now from here, this is where we start getting a little bit creative. We don't have to do a lot of the stuff that I did. It's just a way for you guys to learn new techniques. So here's the very first one that we're going to be doing. Go to your shape tools, grab a rectangle. As long as you have a fill, it doesn't matter about your stroke, or preferably as long as you don't have a stroke. The fill color doesn't matter. We're going to do a clipping mask, and we're going to make a box around her, just like so. Something like that. Now we're going to right click and go to our blending options. Once that pops up, we're going to go to stroke. And you can copy these if you want. Currently, since I've already done this, it's already like good. But I have it at 21 inside and normal, and then 100%, and I have it set to white. Then drop shadow, and I have it set to normal, black, opacity 100, 11, 15, and 40. It's up to you if you want to copy these numbers, or you can kind of tweak it as you see fit. Whichever one is perfectly fine. Then you press OK. Now we want to clip the background to the shape. That means that the shape needs to go underneath the background, and you do so by grabbing your shape and just bringing it down to the bottom right here under pixels, and then it'll be underneath. Now you won't be able to see it anymore. However, if you select your background image right here, you can right click and put create clipping mask, and that'll send the picture to this. And it looks kind of cool because it creates this like area where like she's part of the picture, but she's not part of the picture. She's popping out. You could also make it to where she is like half and half, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it as so. Now from here, this looks pretty good, but now we have a bunch of empty space that we don't need at the top. So we're going to grab our crop tool right here. And we're just going to bring this thing down like so, right around there. It's pretty good. And press OK. Then all we're going to do is selecting our background, hold Control, and you can select the rectangle at the same time and your model. And we're just going to bring with the selection tool them over to this side. Then we're going to grab the picture and the background. Just move that a little bit up. Right around there. Right around there. Perfect. So now we have this cool little design that's going on, and it's starting to come together as you see here in this particular one. One thing that we're going to do to her, just to kind of blend her in a little bit more, select her right here, go down, and we're going to work with curves. Now curves is something that you all can use whenever you want to adjust pictures. This is going to be photography based related, so feel free to learn as much as you can from this, but you can play around with it in other photographs and whatnot. You open up curves. Now at the moment, whenever you add any of these effects, it's going to be added to the entire picture as a whole. So for example, if I bring this down, if I move this slider, notice that the background gets really, really dark. I don't want that. I want to make the adjustment to the girl only. Anybody know how I can do that so that the adjustment only works on the girl? Give you a couple seconds to think about it. If you guessed clipping mask, and good job, you're understanding the concepts of this stuff. If you didn't guess clipping mask, understand that everything can be clipped to everything. And that's where the concept comes in. You all eventually will have to just understand the concept. Find out different creative ways to use clipping mask. So right now, if I press clipping mask, curves will only be applied to the girl. So now when I move this, only the girl gets darker, which is what we want to do. We're going to bring the darks a little bit in just to create some contrast, make those shadows pop a little bit more. Then we're going to move this a little bit down just to kind of drop those highlights so that they're not as vibrant. And then you can click on the eyeball to see the before and after. And that kind of creates a cool little look for the girl, makes her match a little bit more with this background. Now, the next step is to create the background. So for the background, we're going to use the tool called the eyedropper tool, which is this one right here, the eyedropper tool. The cool thing about the eyedropper tool is that right now this is set to black and white, but if I click here, all of a sudden I have white. That's because I'm in this layer. My bad, I messed up. If I click on this picture and I click here, I have brown. I have some greens. I have some beige, some yellow, beige, whatever. If I click on the girl, I can then click on the green or her skin tone or the yellow or the blue, and the color is changing right here. So we want to create a background that is kind of green. So we'll get this green, then we'll switch, maybe grab some of these darker greens over here. Perfect, dark green to light green. And we can then create a gradient. Grab the gradient tool, make sure it's on radio, go to our background, and then just click and bam. Look at that, pretty cool. And it's going with these greens that we originally had. Now the next thing is to type out yesterday you said tomorrow. Just do it. So we're going to grab our type tool. Make sure that when you select the type tool, you might have it in green because that's the color you just chose and we need to change that. So I'm going to put it in black. And then I'm using this font. You guys can use whatever font you want as long as it's kind of thin and it's not bold and bulky. And then I'm just going to write, yesterday you said tomorrow. Make sure that you select it and put it under center align. The size is going to depend very much on your font, but I have a Geom Graph Lite. I'm just going to put this kind of centered right here, maybe at the part where it matches with that picture. And then here comes the logo. The cool thing about PNGs is that they have their background transparent. So when I go to File and Place, I can go to my desktop and I'm going to search for that PNG. However, that's going to be hard to find. Oh, right here. Logo Nike SVG, but it's the same thing. It's a PNG right here where you see. And then Place. And we have our logo that's right there, transparent. I'll go ahead and press OK. Now, this logo right now is at the very bottom, so we'll have to click and drag it all the way to the top. Bam, right there. Control T to resize it. And right here, you guys can just kind of put it somewhere where it looks pretty good. And then press OK. Now, I want to change the color of this logo so that it's not black. And I can right click and put blending options. And then I can go to color overlay. That means I'm just going to put an overlay color over the top of my logo or on top of my picture. So I can click on it, select this, and then choose whatever color I desire or want, right? So from here, as long as it's a color coming somewhere from her, I think will be good. I'm going with this little dark blue right there and press OK. And then press OK. And then comes the just do it. So I'll go ahead and click on my type tool and type just do it with all capital letters and all that stuff. Center this, put it down here. Boom, click on this guy, move a little bit down. There you go. So yesterday you said tomorrow, Nike just do it. And that is the final product that we have. It's a little bit different than mine, but it's okay. Now, here's a little bonus round. If you also choose to, you can go ahead and try this. Change the color of the girl's clothing. And that's the bonus round. If you guys want to try for some extra credit, you can go ahead and try that. It's not going to be a necessity, but you can go ahead and try it. And I'm going to show you right now how to do the shirt. And if you guys can do this yellow thing and the blue pants, extra for you guys because you all understand it. So I'm going to hide this guy right now because I don't want the Photoshop to accidentally see it. And then I'm going to select on the girl right here. Boom, make sure she's selected. Now I'm going to go to select and I'll put color range. This allows me to kind of select specific colors per se, right? And then this thing, little thing pops up and you have the selector of the eyedropper, the plus and the minus. I'm going to select the plus. I'm going to see if I can zoom into the picture. And then press my spacebar and move this way. Now, notice right now this entire picture looks black. As soon as I click on this green, you start seeing that there's a lot of stuff going on. I think it's even selecting this background. So I'm going to press, let me see what we have here. I'm going to press cancel. Yeah, image. Okay, no. All right, I'll press cancel. I'm gonna hide this image because I don't want it to accidentally grab stuff that I don't need. So now with this one, go to select and color range. And then now I can grab this plus and just click here. And notice now it's selected a bit of this the picture here, this color of the girl, right? But if I kind of click and drag around, it starts to select things that are all green. I'm just holding down on my mouse key and just kind of dragging around here to see if it'll grab all these things that are green right here. Perfect. Now I press OK, and it's going to make a selection around those specific areas. Now you can go and tweak this later on, but what I'm going to do here is just kind of create a new layer, or should I do, how should I do this? Oh, sorry, I did that incorrect, my bad. Let's do Control J, which is create a new layer. And in this new layer that I created, you can't really see it, but if I hide her, I just have this like green silhouette here of this thing. Probably not the best way to do it. I want to show you guys the easiest method in case if you make mistakes. So let me try that again. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate her. Control J to duplicate. Or you can right click and put duplicate. Now for this one, I'm gonna name it original girl. And the way you rename is you double type original girl. And for this one, I'm just gonna name it shirt. And right here, I'm just gonna right click on this and I'm going to apply the layer mask so that it gets rid of the layer mask and the background. So I'm gonna do that. Apply layer mask. Perfect. Now she doesn't have a background anymore, and it's just gonna be the shirt. And so from here, I'm gonna do the same thing we did earlier. Select color range. I just need to make sure that I hide the other girl and only this is visible. Select color range. I'm gonna grab this and then just kind of go in here and grab some of that. It already has the selection there, so I'm gonna press OK. And then I'm just gonna push right here where it says layer mask. Bam, it's gonna make a layer mask. Now, remember how I told you that you can go in there with a black or a white brush, which is really good because if you right click and put select and mask, you can kind of see the mistakes you've made here, right? And so you can actually go in here with a brush tool and then just kind of, oops, subtract the stuff you don't need right here. So essentially, whatever easiest method you can to select the stuff that you need. I don't want this. I just want this green area. And then I can press OK. And there it is. That is the correct one. So this one goes right here, by the way, the curves. And we need to right click and create a clipping mask on those curves. Actually, I think it could be up there because we need that to be a little bit darker. All right, so now we can go in here and put hue and saturation. Hue and saturation allows you to change the colors of stuff. And again, this is a bonus round. So if you finished everything, you can turn it in. This is extra if you want to try it and experiment. From here, we want to change the colors of this so we can kind of mess around with this however we want. Notice that as I do that, I notice that some of these parts are kind of transparent. So I can go in here and then just grab my white, make sure this is in black and white, and then just kind of go in there and color those things in. As long as you select the layer mask, and I can go in there and just color those things that are kind of messed up. That should be transparent there, so that's good. Right, and with this one, again, under hue and saturation, we can change the colors and do as we want. So I'll do like a pink. Something like that looks pretty cool. Right, now that I have that in pink, I can actually bring the girl back up. Right there. And bring the picture back up. And bring the background back up. Now notice that now everything is pink and purple and whatnot. And that is because it's being applied to everything. And we only want to apply it to the t-shirt. Right, so from there, we're just going to go bring this down here. Right click and create clipping mask. Now it's only applied to the t-shirt. This guy right here is also applied to everything, and we only want to apply him to the girl. So we can right click and create clipping mask. Now it's only applied to the girl. The t-shirt is only applied there. This one's only applied to the girl herself. If you want to try to do that, you can go ahead and try to do that for the pants and everything else. But now, if we wanted to, we can go in here, grab our eyedropper, make that pink, switch it, make this a darker pink, switch that, grab our gradient, and then choose something like that if we wanted to, right? Or we could also do the yellow, just leave it in yellow and do a solid color instead. Just create a new layer, bam, yellow, boom. There we go. So whichever way you guys prefer, you guys can turn that in. Now, make sure that you remember that this part right here is extra credit. However, everything else that I did must be completed. From there, you can go ahead and go to File, Save a Copy, save to your computer, and then just save it as a JPEG, person cutout, save, and you can turn that in. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from here because we are going to be doing a bit of images where we're going to be cutting things out later on, and it's going to be the first project where you guys get to, you know, be a part of the actual assignment. So with that being said, If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.